and 70th birthday. I've got my two sons visiting, Mark, who's with LingQ, whom you know, and Eric, who's manning the camera.
Hello?
Hello, right. So we thought we'd change the venue a bit, and we're ready to go.
Okay, so here's a list of questions. We unfortunately don't have time to get to all of them, but we'll do as many as we can, and please keep sending them in, and we'll try to fit all questions in. If not this time, then next time. For the first question, Steve, would you or have you considered doing live meetups?
Live meetups, I mean, yeah, sure, we can do them.
We have done them.
We have done them.
Yeah.
I think we use Google Plus on occasion, or Skype.
Well, no, live meetups, like face-to-face meetups, I think. Like,
oh, yeah,
when I travel. Like you
travel.
do them in Europe for sure when you go traveling there. And I mean, I don't know if there are linkers in the desert here, but
yeah.
I mean, I think you're always quite happy to do
Absolutely.
any meetups.
Any meetups.
That
Let us know.
do.
If you know where I'm going to be traveling, we'd be happy to meet up. We've done it in the past.
Mm-hmm. And we're happy to announce it on our forum and get spread the word. The next question, you've talked about learning foreign languages as a subconscious process. Do you think? What do you think? Do we when we choose words?
Or I think what it means when we speak, do we deliberately choose words, or do they just flow
Right.
out? I think it's a bit of both. It's a combination of both. I think one thing that's very important when you learn a language is to trust your instincts. So rather than worrying about, did I choose the right word? Is this the right word? Is it grammatically correct? Just let it flow out as much as possible. But there is also, sometimes we have the time to think about the word, to think about the right form. So to some extent we do that. But the more we can just trust our instincts and have the confidence to just assume that all the work you've put into your listening and reading is just going to enable you to speak more or less correctly. Mm-hmm. So I think we just go with the flow is my advice.
Sounds good. When you're using LingQ and you link a new word, what do you do with it? Do you study it, take an effort to learn it?
Well, I love linking. And particularly I like using this sort of auto-link mode where I'm using the sort of arrow keys and I'm just going from blue word to yellow word to blue word. So if it's a blue word, of course, I'm selecting it if I need it, or if I know it, I mark it as known. If I come to a yellow word, then I get to review it again. And so much of my reviewing of words is when I'm reading on LingQ. In fact, I'll often read a text where I have no more new words, and it's all yellow words where I have created links, and I go through again, and sometimes I change the status, and sometimes I change some of them to known. So linking words, it's sort of my first contact with a new word, and I know I'm going to meet up with these words again and again in the text. So that's what I do with it. I'm not a lot of people like the flashcard. I do my word review more in the context of my reading.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with the different modes, if you click on the settings control on the lesson page, you'll see the different available modes. Auto mode is the default mode when you start, but some of you may be on different modes. Auto mode is our preferred mode, but obviously there's a few different options there you should probably get familiar with.
But I tell you, auto mode, once you get used to it, you go through the lessons very quickly.
Especially using the keyboard shortcuts.
I mean, if you look at my statistics here on my 90-day Polish challenge, I don't know, I think I've increased my known word total by 10,000 words. I think I've linked 5,000 words. I mean, I'm right at the top in terms of the number of links I create, the number of words I learn. It has a lot to do with using that auto mode. So I recommend you have a look at it and get used to it.
Next question. How do you deal with proper nouns on LingQ? Do you rate them, treat them as normal, or do you ignore them?
Again, by and large, this comes up particularly in Slavic languages where proper nouns, names of people, names of places, and so forth, can have many different forms because they're declined just like any other noun. Mostly I mark them as, I X them, I ignore them. Simply because I want to, if anything, understate my statistics, because in a Slavic language you're getting so many words as words that you have learned or known words because you know one or two forms, you know all the other forms. So I tend to not count the proper nouns, but you can go either way, because to know that it's not obvious that Praze, like in Prague, is the same noun as Praha, Prague. So I think it doesn't matter. The statistics are for your own use. whatever you feel comfortable with.
Sounds good. Next question is, I always say obrigada because I am feminine. At least I think so. Do I always say minha, or whether I say minha or meu depends on what I'm referring to?
The agreement is always with what you are referring to. So when you say obrigada, you are referring to yourself. And if you are a girl or a woman, obviously the agreement there is feminine because you are saying I am obligated, or I am, I appreciate, whatever. So if you say minha mãe, my mother, it's because it's mother is feminine. So the agreement is always with a noun that you are referring to.